Edgar Berlanga weighs in at 167 and 1/2 pounds. 167 and 1/2 pounds. $166 and 3/4 pounds. 166 and 3/4 pounds for the defending world champion. The main event of the evening, 12 rounds. Unified Super Middleweight Championship of the World, Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Boxing family, what's going on? Friday the 13th. You know what? I must be slow because I'm just realizing it's Friday the 13th. Tomorrow is fight night. We got to fight. Both guys made weight. Canelo and Edgar Berlanga. I want to get some predictions. I want to know who's paying $90 for this. I know I'm watching it. I won't say if I'm paying or not, but I'm watching it. $90 for the pay-per-view. It's going down. Both guys made weight. Canelo always makes weight. So this is it. It's Friday. I'm not super excited for the fight, but man, I'm always glad to see boxing on a Saturday. So we got some people on here. My man Matthew Berlanga out cold. Kid is an absolute tool. Hey, you said it. You said it. Boxing scholar, the great George. So we got picks here. So Joel, you're going with Berlanga, huh? That's okay. That's surprising. Jay Rich, Manuel James win. Garcia by decision. Okay. Canelo KO 7-12. Ooh. Plus 27.90. Thank me tomorrow. All right, Jay. I appreciate the picks. Jack certainly got some size on him. Let's see him go for broke. Well, there you go. I mean, there's no doubt Berlanga is bigger, but almost everyone that fights Canelo is bigger. He's not a big 168 pounder. So it looks like we got someone picking Berlanga though. I'm picking Oscar by knockout. I think he stops him brutally. Between 5 and 8, I think Berlanga is going to he's gonna come out and try to get the win. Now I've read he says he's gonna out jab Canelo. I don't believe that. He's not ready. Joel says Berlanga looking strong. Well, you know, it's one thing to look strong and then have that translate in the ring. And this is no slight to Arturo Gatti, but I did an interview with Arturo before he fought Carlos Baldemir, a fight he lost, and watching him in the gym. Whenever you watch a pro fighter in the gym on the pads, on the bag, they look strong. They look unbeatable when something's not punching back. I'm not comparing Berlanga to Gatti, but I don't think Berlanga, I think he gets destroyed. He's got a chance, just like every fighter's got a chance because he's big and he's strong. And he's confident and he doesn't know how to lose, but he's never been in the ring with anyone remotely like Canelo. He's never been in the ring with anyone remotely like Jaime Munguia. He's never been in the ring with anyone remotely like Sergey Kovalev. And you can go on and on and on. You get where I'm going. I think he gets smoked. I think Trevor McCumbee is going to get smoked by Caleb Plant. And Danny Garcia, we talked about this early in the week. I'm a Garcia fan. I love his dad. His pops is a good dude. I love his family. I can't really call that fight. Garcia hasn't fought in 2 years. And Lara, I mean, Lara, you know, I looked up his birth certificate. Lara's 81 years old, and he is punching harder at 160 than he ever has in his life. So Joel's got Garcia. You know what? I think I'm rooting for Garcia. I don't know if he's going to win. My man Matt, what's going on, brother? Jorgior, Fulton, Rowley, Plant, Lara, Canelo. Those are your picks, huh? Yeah, Foley and Rowley. You know they should win. Rowley. You know what Rowley's calling his fight with that he lost, that he got smoked. Um, he said it was just a bad night. Well, yeah, it was a bad night. He got ran out of the ring. Don't sleep on Danny. I'm definitely not, because he's Danny Garcia. But Matthew, he's not punching harder because he moved up. It's because he's not moving as much. He has learned to sit down on his punches. But Danny's been doing that his whole career. And also, Matthew, to be fair, the guys that Lara has knocked out at 160, have you heard of any of them? I haven't. I looked up his record the other day, and I didn't hear from any of those guys. You know, I meant to send this link out to Tim Bradley and Sean Porter, and I didn't. But I will get the link on there because I want to get some predictions from people. Yeah, same old stuff. But you know what? Now, I haven't watched this yet. One of my favorite things on Instagram is Oscar De La Hoya's. Giorgio, I see you. I'm going to get you in a second. Oscar De La Hoya's Clapback Thursday. So let's take a look. I have not seen this. I have a feeling he's going to be talking about Canelo.
It's your favorite time of the week again. The only segment in boxing that gives you the facts and makes you laugh. It's Clapback Thursdays. Okay, today on a special episode, Professor De La Hoya here to educate bitter, broke, retired fighters who think it's okay to slander my company's name without any repercussions. Over the last few months, it has become popular for retired fighters to clout chase by alleging that I somehow screwed them over decades ago when they fought for Golden Boy. Woo! Most recently, Juan Manuel Marquez went on a podcast where he bitched and cried that I took 20% of his pay-per-view purse from the Pacquiao fight in 2012. Juan, you moron. You negotiated that contract with your own promoter and lawyer, and you signed it. You agreed to it all on paper. Plus, 20% of a pay-per-view purse is the standard amount for a promoter to be paid. Do you think I should have worked for free? And what makes this worse is that before you were a boxer, you were an accountant. But you still couldn't handle your own finances. Listen, dude, I'm sorry you're broke. But how you spend your money is not my problem. I have always paid everyone exactly what they are contracted and entitled to.
One thing, Juan Manuel Marquez is not broke.
It's why I've been in business for more than 20 years.
Oscar's getting a little too serious on these. I mean, I like it when he's joking, when he's laughing. Now he's getting serious. Juan Manuel Marquez is not broke. He's doing very well.
Juan, let's be honest. You only said this because you heard Canelo defame me at the press conference in May. Remember that? I'm sorry, Juan. I'm sorry you're struggling. I hate to see former fighters end up like this. It's so sad and pathetic. But slandering me is only going to get you in trouble, dude. So keep my name out of your fucking mouth. Also, Edgar Berlanga.
Here we go. Now, this is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear him talking about Juan Manuel Marquez. So maybe we'll get something entertaining right here.
You stopped your press conference yesterday to mention my name. You said you're going to slap me when you see me next. Why? Because I asked to see your Puerto Rican birth certificate? Because you're not really Puerto Rican? I'm asking because when I fought Trinidad, he had the entire island travel to Las Vegas to support him. Or are you upset because I said you're a subpar opponent for Canelo? These are the facts, bro. Don't let them get you rattled. Dude, you are not fighting me. You are distracted and better get locked in because Canelo's gonna tap that ass this weekend. Good luck and enjoy your first and last pay-per-view experience. On another note,
And then it stops. That was kind of That was one of the weaker clapbacks. You know, Juan Manuel Marquez is not broke. So, man, I got some people that do not like Oscar in here. You think Danny and Lara go 12? I think so. Danny is not getting knocked out, and I don't think Lara's getting knocked out either. So yeah, I think a good bet is that goes the distance. Matthew, please don't make me watch Oscar. Oscar has turned himself into such a sissy. Can't even clap like a man. Telling people about his ab surgery like he's proud of it. He is proud of it. I mean, I'll give him that. I mean, he tells people everything about his life. Oscar said that he used drug problem. Yeah, look, I can't complain. Would rather meet the cardboard cutout of Oscar, which is right behind me. That's the cardboard cutout. Remember, you subscribe to One Round with George. Take a picture with Oscar. That's the deal. You take a picture with Oscar. Bruce Gass. What's up, my man? George Yours says, I saw that JMM interview. It was great. He didn't say he took 20% and he didn't bitch and cry. JMM also wasn't broke. Oscar just says anything nowadays and clearly only heard a snippet. Matthew says, what a loser. Matthew says, Oscar's an idiot. Bruce Gass. Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCombie. Best bet for an upset. No shot, bro. No shot. Bruce, don't start saying that. All right? Got to go for Plant. Plant's going to tax McCombie. McCombie is not ready. McCombie is not ready for Caleb Plant. Take it to the bank. Put your money on Caleb Plant. Matthew says he's weird and creepy. Oh my God, you clapped just like that. Hey, I got a pool. So you don't want the picture unless it's poolside? Bro, we'll take it by the pool and you got a picture. Plant a prima donna. What Plant is going to be is he's going to beat Trevor McCombie. I don't see how. What are you basing a Trevor McCombie pick on? Just hope. And that's okay. If you base it on hope, that's okay. He's fought nobody. He's 31 years old. Has fought nobody. Was out for like 4 years because of drug problems. He has fought nobody. I'll tell you what. You got two of them. Berlanga's getting his ass taxed, and McCombie's getting beat. So you got two that are going to lose right there. Will we see Buster Douglas or Peter McNeely tomorrow? Matthew says, please stop clapping. No, not a problem. So I'm going to get this link in here. And I'm looking at the odds. And the last odds I see, Canelo is minus 2,000. And Berlanga is plus 900. So that's further than it was when Canelo fought Munguia. So those odds are further than they were then. But let me drop this link in so people can give some come on and give some picks. Jay Rich says Garcia by decision plus 340, my favorite. Really think Lara is going to get robbed. I'm not expecting a great fight with that one. I'm really not. Literally got caught cheating. That's McCombie. Yeah, I don't think McCombie's not ready. He's not ready for this one. But you know, I gotta say, I don't promote books, but if you haven't read Tinderbox is all about HBO and the rise of HBO, and there's a lot with HBO Sports. And you ever want to find out why HBO boxing is no more, it's in this book. And I've said it all along. But it's a really good book. So, my man.
So, George, Berlanga's not going to pull the upset?
Wait, you think Berlanga's going to win?
I don't. I'm trying to get you excited for the weekend, George. Come on.
You know, I'm always excited when like a big name is fighting, and I'm going to be even more excited tomorrow. Canelo, I think Canelo's going to destroy. I think Berlanga just, you know, he's big and strong, and he's going to come out and try and fight big and strong. And it's not going to work. And he's not fought. Listen, if he beats Canelo, then we got something to talk about Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I'll play devil's advocate. So Berlanga has quote unquote power, and I say that because I've been hearing all these sparring stories from other folks, and they're not really giving him that much credit. And he's athletic. You know, he can move around. He has pretty good legs. And Canelo has been pretty flat-footed over the last couple fights, I'd say. Um, and I don't know. I've seen a lot of Berlanga interviews, and he says that he used to be a boxer. Um, that he became a power puncher because of his trainer. I was like, and in my head, I was like, I wonder if he's gonna go that route and like pull. If, just imagine an upset George. That'd be wild. Like if he upsets Canelo, it would be so wild.
It would. It would be, like I said, there would be a lot to talk about. Berlanga has never shown that he's really a good boxer. I mean, he fought those guys, 16 or 17 first round knockouts, and then he didn't have another knockout until his last fight. So, I mean, for people who think Berlanga is going to win, it's okay to think that, but you're basing it really on hope, on your faith in Berlanga, and you're thinking that Canelo is regressing, which I think he is, but I don't think Berlanga stands a chance. I mean, I would be beyond shocked if Canelo lost his fight. Canelo's lost to two guys, Bivol and Mayweather, and Berlanga isn't close to either one. So,
yeah, I agree. It would be it'd probably be the biggest upset I've ever seen if that were to happen.
Well, it would definitely. I mean, it would be the upset of 2024, no doubt. Where it would go down historically, I don't know, but the undercard. Well, first of all, you're watching the fight, right? Here's the question: are you paying to watch the fight? You can be honest.
I am so loyal to the sport that I've bought almost every pay-per-view, but I am not going to buy this one. I don't like the card. I don't like the Fulton fight. I expect Fulton to win. I put my picks earlier. I'm not too excited about the Caleb Plant McCumbee fight. I'm not looking forward to Lara and Garcia. I have a feeling it's going to be a snoozer. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just that is not worth $90. Like
No.
the Saudi cards have been amazing. I've bought every single one. I even bought the Tank Benavides because I like that card. I mean, Gary Russell was on there and stuff. So, like I've bought almost every single pay-per-view, but this is the first one I'm not buying. I think, unfortunately, I'll have to go to a bar as much as I dislike that.
Well, I mean, that's an honest answer. It rarely are these worth the money, but $90 for this because it's not even a main event. That I mean, if this was Canelo Benavides, yeah, I mean, I'll buy it. But the main event, nobody's really crazy about. And you're right, the card has some good names on it, but the matchups just aren't. Trevor McCumbee, he's 31 years old. He's fought no one. He was out for like 4 years because of PEDs. So, Plant isn't very active, but all the other fights like Garcia, Lara, how do you call that fight? For Garcia hasn't fought in 2 years. So
I'm still pissed about that one because they're fighting at a catch weight at 157 for the 160 title. That is so ridiculous to me.
well, yeah, you know how boxing is. It doesn't make any sense. But that's a hard one to call because it's been 2 years since since Garcia's fought. So
I didn't think Danny looked good against Benavides. I don't know how you think.
no, Danny. It's been a while since Danny looked good. I think I've said I was in his camp for 2 weeks before he fought Errol Spence. I was working with Fox and they were doing like a 24/7 type show called Fight Camp. So I was in the camp for 2 weeks. I love Angel Garcia. Angel Garcia, a lot of people hate him. Angel Garcia, like off camera, would talk about how much he loves his kids, like all his kids, and cry. Like the guy was just, I love their family. But watching him train for that fight, I was in a lot of sparring sessions, and sparring is sparring. Like fighters work on stuff, but he always sparred at like half speed. Every single sparring session that I was in for 2 weeks, everything was half speed. And then when he fought Spence, it was like half speed. It was like the same thing I saw in camp. I think Spence is just was a better fighter than him, but that was 2 years ago, bro. You know, he's made a lot of money, and Garcia's done really well with his money. I don't know. I'm shocked that he's still fighting, and I think it's no coincidence that he's fighting a guy who's 79 years old in Lara. You know, I don't know how hungry Garcia is, and it's just hard to call. It's a hard fight to call because what do you base it on? The guy hasn't fought in 2 years.
That's actually why I'm picking Lara, because I think Danny's a legend. I give him his flowers, absolutely. Um, I mean the best Danny Garcia was the guy that beat Amir Khan, the guy that beat Lucas Matisse. That was the man. Now, you brought up great points about how he's kind of slow. I definitely have seen that over his last fights. I saw that against Benavidez as well, and I just feel like okay, maybe Lara has been fighting not A-level fighters, but I mean, Cuban fighters. I mean, they live and breathe boxing. I feel like Danny's probably doing this because he probably wants some more coin, and I understand that. But I mean, like Lada, if you gave Lada the Canelo fight, like he'd take it. Like I mean, okay, that's not a good example because of money, but like if you give him a hard fight, he would take it. Like he's such a boxer, and he's
Yeah.
probably fearless. So that's why I'm picking Lada. I don't know if he'll knock out Danny. I think it's possible. I don't. That would be a sad ending to Danny's career. So I'm hoping it doesn't happen. But I just think Lada's been. I mean, he lives and breathes the sport.
Yeah, I don't see a knockout in that. And Irie Elliott says all decisions, in my opinion. I
Mm.
I I like I thought Canelo was going to knock out Munguia. He knocked him down, didn't knock him out, but I think Munguia is a much better fighter than Berlanga. Uh, I think that fight's gonna be a knockout. The rest of them, I don't know. Um, but I'm with you. Like this card, it's not great. You know what I'm curious about? Turkey Al Sheikh and the UFC, they have that card the same day. Now I've heard, I don't have an inside track, but people have been saying that that card is not doing well. Like the I guess ticket sales aren't doing well. That's also a pay-per-view. It's like $60 or something. You know, both the same night. I wonder how that's going to do. I'll preface this. I'm not a UFC fan. You know, I don't watch it. Not that I'm against it. I just don't watch it, but I'm curious. This fight's $90 and I'm sure some UFC fans buy boxing when there's no UFC. That's not going to happen. So, you never hear about buys anymore, Giorgio. You know, you never hear about it. So, who knows if I'm just this seems like a horrible business decision to charge $90, but so be it. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, Canelo's gonna do it because he. I mean, his fans are very very loyal. I will say that, but I don't think they all buy it. And then on the UFC, I'm on the same boat as you. Like just how you describe yourself for UFC, I'm the same. Boxing, I just love it. I'm so loyal to it. UFC, I never. I think the only fight I'd probably pay for was like John Jones and Ngannou or something. Like I'd be willing to maybe pay for that. But
Yeah.
I've never paid for a UFC pay. I've never seen a UFC pay per view. But I mean, my understanding is like they're doing this like homage to Mexican fighters, and the main event's not even a Mexican fighter. And I'm like, you think we're some fools or something? Like, I mean, you think I'm an idiot? Like, I don't know. Like, I guess I understand the business model, and he's like talking very great about Mexican fighters, but like, if you look at that card, I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe I don't even know if there's a Mexican fighter in there. Maybe there is, but I know the main event isn't. So it's like, I don't know. If I was doing an homage to Mexican fighters, I'd make sure I'd have a lot of Mexican fighters in the card. That's
Yeah. I don't again, I'm just not a UFC fan, so I have no idea who's on the card. Like I don't know. You would think it would be stacked because Turkey's going up against Canelo, and UFC is going up against boxing. So you would think it would be stacked. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've ever paid for a UFC pay-per-view, but I do remember what was the Ronda Rousey when she lost to the Holly
Holly
Holm.
Holm. Yeah,
Now,
Holly
I
Holm.
don't know if that was a pay-per-view. If it was, I bought it because I did see that one live.
Gotcha. I don't know if it was good for you either. It was everywhere, so I know it happened. But
Right.
I just don't follow UFC as much. I respect it; it's an amazing sport, but I'm a boxing guy. Pay per view I will buy Daniel Dubois, AJ for $20. Thank you, Turkey. That's amazing.
Is that $120?
$20 on the zone. That's what I saw. I'm a DAZN subscriber, so I saw it for $20. I was like, that's great.
You know, whatever happened, like DAZN used to, if you had a subscription, if a pay-per-view was 20 or like say 50, they would deduct what you're paying for the month. They don't even do that anymore, do they?
I mean, I've been a subscriber for years, and that's never happened to
Yeah, well,
me.
yeah, $20. I mean, I'm going to see it. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to see it as well.
Come on,
That's
George.
You know what? I hear people say like, "Oh, you got to support." Man, like these prices, it's just I don't know. But Jay said Spence posted today putting 154 and 160 on notice. I think they'll line up the winner of Garcia Lara for Spence at 160. Last I
Oh,
checked, Errol Spence hasn't fought since he got his ass thrashed last year by Bud, right?
yes.
Did I
I
miss
know.
the Spence fight?
No, I know what Jake's talking about. I saw that. Earl put it on his story. It's like this scene from I think The Wire. It was like this. I haven't seen that show, but it's like this bad dude walking out with a gun and was like running away. So he's like, and he put there 54, 160. Like I'm coming. So it's exciting, you know. I mean, I'm a Texan, so you know I root for the big fish. But I don't know how good he is after that loss. I'd love to see him fight, but I mean, what's he gonna? I thought he was gonna go against Fundora, and I haven't heard a single thing about that.
Wait, you're a Texan?
I'm a Texan, yeah.
So I was in Texas in June. You ever hear of a fighter named Troy Dorsey?
I've heard of him. I don't know him.
Troy Dorsey's from Mansfield, Texas. He's a former featherweight champ. Back in the like late 80s, early 90s. He was also a kickboxing champion. He was the first kickboxing champion to come into boxing and win a belt. I was in Mansfield, Texas in June interviewing him because I'm doing a doc on his fight with Kevin Kelly, which was a amazing fight. But I got to spend a little time in Texas. I'll tell you what, I forget the name of the place I went, but man, I had some good barbecue in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
That you're in the right place, George. I'm telling you, for barbecue. That's what
what part of Texas are you in?
Oh, I'm in San Antonio.
Okay.
San Antonio, yeah. But I went to school in Austin, and Austin's barbecue scene is phenomenal. And San Antonio's it's getting there too. It's pretty good. So if you're ever in San Antonio, I'll be happy to take you to the best barbecue spot.
Oh shoot. Well, look, if I am, I'll definitely. I might be. Well, I'll let you know. I might be in the next month or two. So Dubois and AJ. Matthew says anybody that thinks Daniel is going to knock out AJ has brain damage. Well,
Come on, Matthew. I mean, Dubois tough. I mean, he's.
you know what? I got to give him credit, bro. Like
Yeah.
a lot of fighters said he quit against Usyk. Like I'm literally like Chris Algieri and Paulie Malignaggi said they thought he quit against Usyk Dubois.
Well, this is Usyk.
He came back and he beat Fat Baby Miller and he beat Ergovich. So you got to give him credit. And he was getting the thing that I don't think he's going to beat AJ. Dubois was tough against Ergovich, but I've only watched that fight that night. But what I remember is almost every right hand that Ergovich threw, he landed. But Dubois he was tough, man. Like you got to give him credit for coming back against. You know, he came back from the loss to Usyk. I got to give him credit. The thing that I don't like, forever now in history, he's going down as a heavyweight champion because he had the interim belt, and I guess they elevated him, so he's the champ.
Yeah.
Which I hate that. I hate interim belts, but I don't hate Dubois, but he's not he's got a belt, but this really, to me, is the title fight, and I think AJ's going to be what will this be? 3-time champ if he wins?
Yes, 3 times. And to Matthew's comment, like I do think saying Daniel's gonna knock out AJ, I think is a little bit of a stretch.
But it's never. I'm not gonna put it. This is boxing. Anything can happen. You never know. But AJ has just looked insane these past couple fights. Like, he just looks so good. I think it's hard to pick against AJ right now. But Dubois, I don't know if I don't know if you saw the face off they did, but Dubois like standing his ground, and he's
I
like,
saw.
yeah, like just trying to show like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be a pushover here. I'm gonna go at it. So I think it's gonna be an entertaining fight. I'm At least in my opinion, it'll be worth the $20 for me. At least the main event. So I'm excited for it.
Well, now Kyle Hayden says, explain this to me. You need to wait until after the Canelo fight and then get the 7-day free trial, and then you should be able to buy AJ Dubois pay-per-view for 20. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I think so when you sign up to the zone, you get a 7-day free trial. So that I think that's what he's trying to say. He's like, oh, like
Oh,
if you don't have the zone, wait to there, and then you could just get the pay per view for 20, and you won't have
I
to like
got you.
double it. And for me, for me it's insignificant because I've been a zone subscriber for years. Like I'm out here paying for all these Saudi cards because I actually really enjoy the Saudi cards a lot, and this one should be good. Hey, oh, what do you think about Shakur getting his hand injured? I was pretty sad.
Yeah. I was, I never like to see that. In fact, here it is right here. So that body shot, I guess he landed it on his hip. Um, yeah,
Are those
it,
Everlast gloves? I can't tell.
yeah, I can't tell either because the video's not. It's not really good. But boom, right there. It didn't even look like he landed on his hip. But yeah. Look, I was not looking forward to that fight with Joe Cordina. I wasn't, but I don't like to see a guy get hurt. The thing is, I don't think anyone was looking forward to that fight, although it was the headliner, right? Because Bivol, Better Be a Bivol is free. So if you wanted the pay-per-view, Shakur was the headliner.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah. I
I
think
don't know what they're gonna do now.
me neither. I mean, I mean, Turkey. I believe Turkey can find a solution, but yeah, on ESPN Plus, you're going to get the main event, and then the undercard, which was going to be the co-headline, which was Shakur and Cordina, was going to be the pay-per-view section, and it was a lot of Brits on there. I think Eubank and Shiraz and those folks. I mean, I'm a Shakur fan, so I was gonna buy the pay-per-view, but now without Shakur, like I don't know about that one. I think I'll just pay for the ESPN Plus subscription and watch the main event.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. My boys from across the pond, iBoxing Hub. Big up to this guy. Calls me a legend. That's why I love him. They're good. I was on their podcast. They're good dudes. So subscribe to iBoxing Hub. Boy, some people are going to war in these in these comments. Linda Woods, hi, hey Linda, hi George, hope all's well. I've got Canelo winning, but I can't take it seriously because Canelo cherry picks.
Ugh.
But he's done that for a long time.
He did say, I saw this reported by ESPN, that he said that if Bivol beats Beterbiev, that he wants to rematch Beterbiev for undisputed at 175. That would not be a cherry pick right there.
Yeah, but who wants to see that? I mean,
I think Canelo genuinely believes that he could beat Bivol, and when somebody's that stubborn, and like I personally just don't think. I think I'm in the minority, which I'm kind of surprised, but I actually don't think Bivol's going to beat Beterbiev.
you think he is not going to win, Bivol?
No, I'm picking Beterbiev. Who you
I am
picking?
too.
Bivol?
I am
Oh, you
too.
are?
I've always picked, even though he's 39, even though a lot of people, because of the knee injury, a lot of people are picking against him. And I
Mm-hmm.
get it because at some point, he's gonna get old. I know he doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, he takes care of himself, but he's 39, he's almost 40. So and he's having these injuries. I think Better Be is winning the fight. But I can't wait to see it. And I love the fact that it's free. ESPN, well, we say free, like ESPN Plus still, it costs money for ESPN Plus, but the point is you're not paying $90 to see that fight.
Yeah, I agree. I saw this on Inside Boxing. Dan Canobio asked Canelo, like, a draft question. They're like, oh, if we were to draft somebody for certain divisions, who would you draft? And I want to do, because you are a legend, George. So I want to do this with you. So 135, who would you draft?
Who would that
Who do you
wait?
think?
So it was a who would you draft for, like, if it was like a fantasy league?
Yeah, like he gave him like five. Like he's like, okay, like I think he told them like, okay, like 140, who you got? Or like 135, who you got? Then 135, like he picked Tank. I think 140, he picked Ryan or Teofimo, and like etc. So just because I want to have some boxing fun before I let you go.
Like, so who would be my number one draft pick at 135?
Yes.
Well, see, it depends on, like, you got to quantify. Like, what is it? Like, what does it mean? How do you score point? You know how I know how fantasy football works. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a Jersey guy, so I'm a Shakur guy. So, you know, I'm probably picking him number one, but I don't think Tank and Shakur are ever going to fight. So, which sucks. By the way, real quick on Canobio, Dan Canobio, that's my dude. You know, his dad created CompuBox with Logan Hobson.
Oh wow.
Yeah, his father, Bob Canobio. That's why Dan is so. I mean, he grew up around boxing. So when I was at HBO, every spring or summer, we would have a wiffle ball game at the Canobio's house. They live on Long Island. If you're ever in a chat with Dan, ask him about his backyard, his parents' backyard. Their backyard, they literally, it looks like a baseball stadium. They've got a wall, they've got a field. We would play wiffle ball every year. So I first met Dan when he was a little kid, and he was like knocking the ball over the fence. But that's my dude right there. But yeah, if people didn't know, his father created CompuBox, and Dan used to work for CompuBox. He would be counting punches. So that dude has grown up around boxing. So I'm happy to see all the stuff he's doing, because I knew him when he was a little kid. But my number one pick at 135. Sorry, man. I'm from Jersey. I'm picking Shakur.
I would pick Shakur too personally, but Gus is amazing. I always wonder like who is this guy? Like I had no idea, but you know he's with Chris Algieri on Inside Boxing, and he seems pretty passionate about the sport. He knows he knows his stuff. I was like, I thought it was just some random person, but not at all. This guy grew up around boxing, so it's
No,
crazy.
dude. I mean, Bob Canobio and Logan Hobson, they created CompuBox, which I think used to just be with HBO, and then they were with everyone. So yeah, man, Dan has grown up going to fights. He was like a little kid going to Vegas. So he's been around the sport because of his dad. And you grow up around it, and he loves it. So yeah, man, that's my dude. Dan's a good guy.
Really cool. Yeah, his interviews with Canelo are I enjoy them. Like he's they're very lighthearted and they're fun, and I like this concept. So I'm gonna give you four more divisions and then I'll let you go. Who are you picking for heavyweight?
Number one pick. See, I can't really say Usyk. I think Usyk's going to be Fury, but Usyk's probably going to retire. I mean, I think he said he wants to fight AJ if AJ wins. That's the only fight he wants. So
I guess the way I see it is like you can only pick one fighter to represent, I guess your firm or whatever to be the man of the division. Who are you picking? Right, like at this current state, assuming no politics, assuming they just fight each other. And like 135, I do got Shakur. I think Shakur beats everybody.
we both got Shakur.
Yeah,
So
I
at
love
heavyweight,
Lomachenko. He's my favorite, but I still picking Shakur. I think he beats everybody. Heavyweight, I'm going Usyk. I don't know who you got.
I'd have to go with Usyk.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at the. I would have to go Usyk because I think Usyk is going to beat Fury. So I think he's and regardless of what AJ does, Usyk beat him twice, hands down. He beat him twice. So yeah, I think I would have to go with Usyk. It'd be different, like if the fantasy rules were different. Like if it's a long-term play, I don't know, because Usyk won't be around. But I'm going with Usyk
140.
at 140.
That's up in the air now. That division.
That, you know what? That division has had so much it's changed so much.
Yeah, like, do you
Man,
still consider Devin 140? Is he still 140? Ryan is not 140. Like,
I don't
anybody who's
count.
around 140.
I don't
Yeah,
count. Ryan has never even fought at 140 because both his
exactly.
fights were 143. So
There you
Devin,
go.
even if he fights at 140, I don't think he's the best at 140. But I'd probably go with Teal.
Teal. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think Teal's a great pick. 140 is interesting. I feel like he really struggled with Jermaine Ortiz.
He
He didn't
did.
even look.
He did struggle. There's no doubt, and he's got no fight on the horizon, right?
No, he's actually recently on Sean Zatel's X account. He put an interview saying that he's calling out Tank, and I would love that fight, but just the Tank's handlers, we know they're not gonna take that fight. Like, because Teofimo was pretty much was like, "Hey man, I'm available. You're available. Let's make it happen." You know, Tank, like, let's do this. But I mean, I think if I had knowing the boxing business, I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately. But I would love if that happened. I would love that fight. I think that'd be an
Me
amazing
too.
fight. That would
Me
be a
too.
fantastic fight. Man, 140 is tough. I wish I had boxing scenes list in my right in front of me right now.
Well,
Um,
I do. I'm looking at it right now. Uh,
what are some like top contenders in 140? Like,
you know what's crazy? Like Subriel Matias was like the boogeyman, and then he lost, and he's ranked 10th by the WBC.
wow.
Um,
I mean, you got Hitchens. He's solid. Can he beat Teofimo though? Probably he could box him. You know, you got
maybe,
Jack.
yeah, Teo can be beaten. I mean, but like Barbosa to me,
No,
Jack
no.
Catterall, eh. Sandor Martin, I love him, but I just know Isaac Cruz super beatable and lost, to Valenzuela.
I'm gonna go Antoine Russell, even though he lost to Puyo. That's my pick.
Wow,
Carry Antoine Russell. That's me. I mean, Teofimo's the man. I mean, but if we're doing this draft game, I'm going Gary.
wow.
For
All right,
it's my
okay,
fun. Just having fun with it. I got
yeah.
chaos. There's 3 divisions. I got two more for you. Okay, this it's between two guys, but who you got at 175?
Oh well, I mean Arthur.
Archer, right?
I'm a big until he gets beat. Like someone has to prove it to me. Um, I think Arthur is the guy at 175. I think he's going to beat Bivol. Bivol too. Like I don't try to get involved in people's private lives, but Bivol, like I saw his ex-wife or his wife. He's getting divorced. He's going through some stuff. Um, but that's not why I think he's going to lose. I think Beterbiev is
I
unbeatable
s-
right now with this division that I'm looking at. I think Benavidez and it's funny, Benavidez and Morel, they both had their last fights at 175 and they both struggled. It's no joke when you have to move up and weight.
oh
Like
yeah,
it's no joke at 175. So my pick is that's an easy one. That's Archer.
yeah. Archer for me as well. He's one of my favorite fighters, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I like Benavidez, but like, he did not look good. Volstic was a big dude. And if Volstic was explosive, I don't know what would have happened in the fight. Volstic is not very explosive. He's like a very, technically sound fighter, but he's a big guy. I don't know. I like Morel and Benavidez to fight each other, but I mean, that's not in the PBC playbook either. So,
Hey, before you give me the other division, shout out to Trent with the
ooh,
super chat. He says, I
shout
like
out to him.
Hutchinson's chances against Boatsy. Hutchinson, only amateur world champ from the UK, while Boatsy beat in amateurs. Paro Haney, who wins? Ooh.
Ooh,
I
well,
like Hutchinson's chances as well, but
I got
Haney,
Buatsi. I got Buatsi personally. I think he's just better than Hutchinson. But Hutchinson's is good though. Like, I respect him. He did great at the Saudi card.
yeah.
And go ahead, George. You were going to talk about Pearl.
Well, I would have to pick Boatsy too. If Paro Haney, Paro's good, man.
Yeah, he's good.
He
I like
he's
him.
good, and Haney, who knows where his head is at right now?
Yeah, Trent.
I mean,
I got Haney. Trent. I think Haney. Ha- Haney is a really great boxer. He is very, very good boxer. I still think he competes with the best of them. I was very impressed with Paro when he beat Montana Love. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, whoa, okay, this guy's. And then he out took Matthias to school, and I was like, okay, Paro, I respect. You're one of the best guys in the division, but I do not see him being Devin. I think Devin, on top of his game, can beat Paro. That's my pick.
All right, that's a good pick. I would probably lean towards Haney too.
Okay.
But I don't know when is Haney going to fight? Why is he out so long?
He's out because of money. Like I hear Eddie Hearn's comments, and I love Eddie Hearn's interviews. He's just one of the best promoters I've ever experienced. I love how he articulates himself. But he's pretty much saying this: like Devin has a really high number, and he believes that Devin should take like a like a confidence boosting fight to
Right.
come back stronger. But Devin doesn't want to take anything less than like 4 million. And he's like, look, man, like you want 4 million, you need to fight Ryan Garcia or some other big names. That was kind of in short. That's pretty much what he's saying. That Devin is outpricing himself because he's been paid a lot throughout his career, and for these type of confidence booster fights, you just can't pay him that type of money unless it's Riyadh season. And they're just lucky that Riyadh season even exists. If Turkey didn't exist, I don't know how Devin would even fight again.
You know what? I like Eddie Hearn too, but I've been traveling a lot, interviewing people for a boxing doc series that's going to come out maybe next year. And I was with Jim Lampley he lives in North Carolina, and we were talking off camera, and I asked Jim, why aren't you calling fights anymore? And he said, look, no one offered me a job after HBO was finished. And I said, I can't believe DAZN hasn't offered you a job. And no, I'm not taking shots against DAZN, but Jim Lampley would clearly be the best announcer on DAZN or almost anywhere. And I asked him about DAZN, and he said, for some reason, Eddie Hearn doesn't like me. He said, I don't know what happened. I remember having a dinner with him. I was with my wife, and it was a bunch of people. Jim said, I don't know if I said something, but he apparently, Jim was close to getting a job with DAZN a few years ago, and then it got back to Jim that some of the boxing people are questioning the decision, and they were clearly talking about Eddie Hearn. So
What
I
the
don't know.
hell? That's
I mean,
ridiculous.
this is what Jim said. He doesn't know this for a fact.
Yeah.
He thinks so. Yeah, I don't know. But I got to give a shout out to Jim Lampley, by the way. Jim Lampley, I've known Jim for a long time. I'm not super close with him, but I've got to spend time with him. Jim Lampley off camera talks just like he does on camera. It's hilarious and it's awesome. He's like one of the smartest men I know. But he's just a good dude, man, and he still has passion for calling fights, and he does stuff for ppv.com. Shout out to them. But it's in a chat. Like, he does some things on their website, and he's in their live chat. Like, you can order the fights on ppv.com. You can order the pay-per-views, and there's a chat, and Chris Algieri's in it. Dan Canobio's in it. Jim is in it. But man, I wish Jim was still calling fights. So I don't know. I got segued because you brought up Eddie Hearn, and for some reason that reminded me of Jim
No,
Lampley. So
we love this is why we subscribe to you, George. You have all these stories. We love this, but just to respond to you there, my biggest critique about the zone has always been the commentators. Always. That's been like there's more critique, but my number one has been the commentators. I'm not, there's I just they have no chemistry, they don't vibe, and Todd Grisham is the name of the guy. I think we've talked about this in the past that he's the one. He's like the Jim Napoli job there, and with all due respect, he just makes me want to pull my hair out because I just don't feel like he knows boxing. He has a voice, like he has like that
great
WWE
voice.
voice, like that WWE voice, like oh my gosh, like he has that. But sometimes he says things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, I can't stand some of these comments. And like if Jim Napoli was in that chair, the zone would dramatically be more better in the commentating side. So it's if the alleged story is true, I'm sad about that because I would love to have Jim Napoli on the zone.
Yeah, me too. But the facts are he's 75. I mean, he's still Jim when he's talking about boxing, and he's still passionate about it. You know, when I was at HBO, Jim is very emotional. I mean, about everything. He could cry talking about the sunrise. He'll just start to cry. He just gets emotional. So we would joke when I was at HBO, if you had to interview Lampley for a feature or something, like if you didn't make him cry, you weren't doing your job. So when I interviewed him, of course, several times he got very teary, and um, he got teary talking about the fighters and things the fighters have overcome in their lives and careers. And I asked him, I said, you know, Jim, what is it about boxing or the boxers that gets you so emotional? And he said, you know, one of the things is they do something I could never do. The things
Mm.
that these athletes do, I could never do. And I respect what they're doing. And he gets he gets emotional. Trent, he's not teaching at North Carolina anymore. Talking about Lampley, he was teaching. I thought he was still teaching. He does not teach anymore. He's retired, has a beautiful house at Chapel Hill. Um, but yeah, he cried. He cried a few times. But that's Jim. Jim, he's. I mean, and then off camera, we had a discussion about Emmanuel Stewart, who Emmanuel Stewart, the late great Emmanuel Stewart, was one of the closest people to Jim Lampley, like in his life. And I got to spend some time with Emmanuel. I've talked about that before, but Jim was very emotional talking about Emmanuel. But it was great. I was at his house for, I don't know, 3, 4 hours, and we did an interview that lasted about an hour. Just hearing Jim Lampley talk boxing, man, like I would have paid him to let me sit there and just talk with him. You know, it just he loves it, and man, I wish he was still calling fights. I'm with you.
Man, that's so touching. I feel like Jim Napoli gives me those like huggable grandpa vibes. Like it's just like he just seems like a good gentleman. I should say it that way.
No,
Um,
he's a good dude, man. He's a, you know, Jim used to do some crazy things like back in the day when I was at HBO, but uh look, he's a grandfather, man. He's got 11 grandkids, and he's got 4 grandkids like in the Chapel Hill area.
oh wow.
And they come over almost every day. The house is like set up for them. But man, I've said this since HBO, you know, met its demise and got out of boxing. That was 2018. We're 2024, and Jim Lampley, he should have been calling fights. I don't know what his contract. Maybe he had a non-compete for a while. I don't know. There's no way Jim Lampley should not be calling fights. It's been 6 years, and I think it's you know, for me, it's not a good thing that he's not calling fights.
And it looks like it's not going to change because however the politics work in the zone over there, whatever the politics are, those guys have stayed there for a while, like since the zone started. Like that,
Yeah.
there hasn't been. Yeah, they bring in like Sean or something every now and then, but like those guys talking are the same guys. So I've complained about it on X. I don't know how many times I get ignored, so I let it be. Back to Trent's point, because I want to. He said something about Paro. He said that Haney messed up Paro during sparring, which is why Paro wasn't able to fight Regis.
Oh,
Uh,
right, right.
which is crazy. I actually didn't know that. I knew the fight got canceled, but I didn't know what happened to Paul. I didn't know Haney was the one that messed him up. So that was an interesting point from Trent. I did not know that.
Yeah, Trent's got some. He's got some sparring info. So
Crazy. So last one, George, 126.
126. What'd you
Because
say?
126, because I think that division's up in the air. That's my last
That's
one.
that's a man. That's a tough one.
I know, because I'm not sure about my pick either. I'm actually just because I like the recent how he beat Van Allen recently. Angelo Leo. I think I'm going to roll with Leo. That's my pick.
See, I would probably go towards Espinoza because
Mm-hmm.
he had that big upset.
Against Robesi, and they should rematch. I'm looking forward to that. They should
Me
rematch.
too. When is that rematch happening?
I don't know the date, but I know the rumors out there that I mean Robesi's been calling for it, so like I think it's going to happen because just like Oshaki's getting his rematch against Consensiao, I think
Right.
what they should get is even though different story, right? Where basically got beat. Oshaki got
Dude,
robbed.
Oshaki got robbed, man. He
Yeah,
got robbed in that fight. And it wasn't a great fight, but Oshaki won that fight. Like, come on.
agreed. But yeah, oh man, Oshaki's 126, right?
No, Oshaki's
Oh,
130.
130. Okay. I was about to flip. I was like, I'm missing. But no, I'm going Leo. Who you got 126?
I'm going Espinoza. I'm going Espinoza.
All right, George. Thank you for your time. I won't take up the whole time. I'm
All right,
gonna go.
brother. I appreciate talking to you, man. And if I'm in San Diego, I'll definitely let you know.
San
I mean
Antonio.
San
And
Diego, San Antonio. Sorry.
what do you prefer? I can send you a DM. Do you prefer X or Instagram? What do you like more? I'll send you a DM
Uh,
so you could know my stuff.
what'd you say? X or what?
Instagram.
Do Instagram.
Okay, cool. I'll send you a DM and just be like, so you'll actually see my face for once.
Yeah, man. That should be a rule. Like, you should come on next time. Get your camera ready.
Nah, I don't have a cool setup like you. Like
You don't
you
need
got
a
like.
cool setup, though.
I get you. All right, I'll send you a DM. Have a good one. Bye bye.
All right, brother. All right. Well, there you go. By the way, I have not seen one person who is picking, and Trent, I think I answered this. Jim Lampley is not teaching at North Carolina anymore. And yes, you want to the Bo Galata riot. Um, that is, I was not there. I was not working for HBO, but Jim Lampley was a star that night, and George Foreman was a hero. George Foreman, like Jim Lampley has said, Jim and Larry said, George Foreman saved their lives that night. Terrible, terrible night in Madison Square Garden, but George Foreman was a hero, and Jim Lampley just did an amazing job. But I'm about to get out of here. I'm not really hearing one person picking Berlanga. Am I? And yes, I agree with you, Trent. He should be calling fights. ESPN got rid of Teddy Atlas. I think Kriegel helped get rid of Teddy. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I just think I think they thought he was too outspoken. I guess. I don't know, man. Or it's ageism. Who knows? They're trying to get rid of people. Matthew, I agree. Jim Lampley should always have a job in boxing. Now, to Jim's credit, he's had a long. He's in the Hall of Fame. You know, he's made great money and he deserves every dollar. So he doesn't have to call fights, but I don't understand how he went from HBO in 2018 and then to nothing. It just boggles my mind. But it's almost an hour, so I'm about to get out of here. But my pick, let's see. I'm gonna run down this card. Not that anyone really cares about my picks, but by the way, Canelo is gonna knock. I think he's gonna knock Berlanga out. So let's go to the event. All right. So the fights that people care about: Rolly Romero's fighting someone named Manuel Jaimes or James. Rolly should win this fight. I don't know anything about the guy. Um, he should knock him out. Stephen Fulton is going to beat Carlos Castro. Caleb Plant is going to beat Trevor McCumbee. I don't know if it's by knockout or decision. I'm leaning towards knockout. I think McCumbee's going to get exposed. It's exposure time tomorrow night. I got Caleb Plant by knockout. Erizlandi Lara and Danny Garcia. If I had to make a pick, I go with my heart. That's why I don't bet money on fights, because I bet with my heart. I'm going Danny Garcia and Canelo Berlanga. Canelo's gonna stomp all over Berlanga, and he's gonna win the fight. I just think I don't think Berlanga is ready. I don't think he's ready in any way. So those are my picks. Those are my picks for tomorrow night. And yeah, Lampley does love the fighters. He really does. He really has a respect and an admiration for boxers that that you don't see very often. And a lot of people, you get the haters out there that say, "Well, he never boxed. Why does he talk about boxing?" Jim Lampley is incredibly gifted and smart, and he really does respect the fighters. So, Trent, Polish guy after the ride had his face beat purple. Yeah, that was a bad night, man. I'm from Jersey, so I almost went to that fight. I was like, man, how old was I? Jeez, I was like 20. I don't know, early 20s. And I thought about going to that fight because it was in the Garden. I was like, oh man, this would be a good fight to go to. Thank God I didn't go to that fight. Man, thank God. But anyway, we got the fight tomorrow night. My hour is up. It's 8:01. Friday the 13th. Enjoy the rest of your Friday 13th. Make sure you like and subscribe. See this cardboard cutout right here? Subscribe. You can win a gift, a picture with the Oscar de la Hoya cardboard cutout. So make sure you subscribe. We got the fights tomorrow night. I think what we're going to be talking about is what's next for Canelo. I think we're going to be talking about the fact that Berlanga was not ready. And if Berlanga was to win, then boxing fans have a lot to talk about for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. All right, that's my time. Let's go, Canelo. Get that knockout. Viva Canelo!